So I came into a groove box recently. It was your mom's groove box. The Elektron Digitakt is some mysterious box that I know nothing about. Everyone was talking about them several years ago, and they were all the rage on YouTube. And I guess I missed the boat. But now I've got one, so I'm gonna review it. I wanna be a cool guy playing with stuff with one headphone on my ear. Now I know what you're gonna say. Zero. That's not a synthesizer. That's a groove box, silly Billy. But you're wrong. Dead wrong. And you need to stop talking to me like that. Anything is a synthesizer. A dog is a synthesizer. Your face is a synthesizer. A synthesizer is a synthesizer. Anyways, I don't know, man. Tell your mother I'm sorry. Alright, who put this box here? What's this box all about? What is this, a computer? What do I need this for? And the answer is, because it's fun, man. Come on, guy, lighten up. We're talking about the Digitakt, today we're talking about the Elektron Digitakt 2000. I've had this thing for a couple weeks, and I haven't uncovered all of its mysteries, but I'm getting a feel for it. It's very user-friendly. It's very intuitive. I got this cheat sheet here. I hardly ever need it. I do have some complaints, however, and complaint number one is the file organization is absolute AIDS. You get used to it. It's actually not as bad as it seems. You just kind of have to shift your thinking a little bit. The highest level of a file you can go with this is called a project. If you just consider a project a song, that solves like half of your problems right there. Each project is its own song. Done. I wish I could organize the projects into folders, but, you know, it's fine. So the first thing I love about this is just the sequencer. You've only got 8 audio tracks. I say only, but 8's enough. I'm actually fine with the 8 channels. What I wish it had is more outputs. And it doesn't have to be 8, but I wish it had at least 4 outputs. So that's sort of my second gripe with it. And then you've got 8 MIDI tracks. It's a perfect kind of central brain to your setup if you need it to be like your master sequencer going out to all your different synthesizers. As kind of a live tool, the Digitakt's great. It's really easy to just program things on the fly really fast. That's kind of what I love about it. It takes me about 10 times longer to program something in Ableton. So you've only got 8 channels, but you've got the ability to trigger lock. So say you wanted to save some real estate and put the kick and snare on the same track. Well, I do that almost as a matter of course anyways. If you just hold the trigger down, you can edit anything about it, including the sample. You could go through and manually change all the ones you want to be snares. Or you could just copy them. I really enjoy how easy it is to just knock out some patterns in grid mode. That's more of a sequencer or a drum machine thing than a Digitakt thing, but it's just so much better this way, having actual buttons and whatnot. Probably about half the reason you want to buy this is the sampling and chopping capabilities. I'm not a hip-hop. I'm not a Blackman. But I can definitely appreciate how fun it is to mess with like drum loops and stuff. So I've got a little drum loop in here. Just some random drum loop I got from like Ableton or something. Just put it in slice mode there. Cut it up into 8. Just finds the slice points for you. Cuts it up. You can adjust the slices or the length. I'm going to keep it at 8 here. Let's see. And you can just have fun all day just playing with this. We'll try and record something. Get some metronome action here. Definitely a bit more out of my element in live record mode. Fun in a bun. Alright, that's enough yapping. It's time to make something. I'm just using some factory sample called Noise. And pro gamer tip here. If you're doing it in grid mode, it's so much easier to just input it with a MIDI keyboard than trying to like find the note. That's just a little pro gamer tip for you. I'm gonna start off with a little arpeggiated action. See how much easier that is? And then you just copy, paste. All right, that's what our arpeggio is gonna sound like. We're gonna need some drums at some point, so I might as well just dial in some drums. I kind of like the default kick on here, so I think we'll just stick with that. And to free up some trackage, I'm gonna sample lock the kick and snare hits. Snare sample here. One really cool thing that's in the it's in the second page of the filter menu. It's got a sample rate or a sample rate reduction. And I already messed with the amp, but I've got the amp cut off really. Here's how it sounds with a longer release. That's kind of cool, actually. But you can tighten it up, too, and it kind of sounds... We've saved quite a bit of trackage there on that first track, having the kick and snare. I'm going to put the hi-hats on the second track. We want that on everything. We want that hi-hat on every beat. It was muted. All right. Well, that's pretty cool, but I think we might need even just a little bit more percussive element that maybe we can unmute and can kind of lift the thing up at some point. So I'm going to use that drum loop that I used earlier and do a similar thing. So we'll go to track 3 there. we'll just find the place where the kick is. And then this note's going to be the same, but it's going to be a different part of the sample. So I'll just copy all that. Not quite on grid, but maybe it sounds cool. And actually, you know what? I want to double it. That's not enough. I want the twice as many notes on the snare. So let's see if I can do that. If you hit the trigger and the up button, you enter the re-trigger menu. Basically, you can repeat the note all the way on up to like 64th notes. Let's see how that sounds. Starting to sound a little bit too mumble rap though. I think I can make it a little cooler. Let's try a little sample rate reduction. Maybe. I don't know. Let's try the filter. It's a little better. That's cool. But maybe we'll do some weird panning shit on the okay, I haven't talked about the LFO yet, but it's got two LFOs. The LFOs, while I wish they could control more things, the LFO is cool. So we'll just bring it over to panning. God damn. It's like right at the bottom. That's kind of cool. We'll keep that for now. And finally, I think we're going to do a bass sound. We're going to do the bass in the box here. And I found a little factory sample. Pretty good sounding. Maybe I'll put a little bit of filter action on it. Let's see how that sounds. That's pretty good, I guess. Okay, we got some bass. And you know what? One more thing I think this needs. I think this arpeggio needs some echo or some reverb or something. So let's give it a little bit of let's try a little delay. If you hold the function button, you can get it to do straight quarter notes or eighth notes or whatever. I've got it doing dotted 16th notes. That sounds pretty good to me. And then barely any feedback. And a little bit of reverb. See, I wish the LFO could be assigned to some weird stuff, like reverb settings or delay settings. I don't know why it doesn't let you do that.